After last month's chaos, this month, things appear to be still, but still waters run deep. Greetings, loyal members. This is the Dominion War. Now, last month, back in July, the Klingons crushed the Cardassian Guard's order as they tried to reach Beta Z. The Dominion then dug in on Beta Z and are now cut off and behind enemy lines. Now, I want to make a quick correction for last month where I said that the Federation took Jaros. They did not, they were repulsed. Also back in July, the Klingons began to outflank the southern flank of the Dominion front lines, down through essentially the Calandra sector and then along those supply lines that the Dominion themselves created. Whilst the Federation launched an attack in the centre, but were ultimately repulsed. And finally, the first Cardassian Joint Order was deployed. Now this month, August 2375, tactical repositioning is the name of the game. So, the Cardassian Joint Order deploys to the south to reinforce what is essentially now the Cardassian front in that sector. There's only one Jem'hadar fleet in that sector. The rest of the fleets are all Cardassians, and the hope is that by sending the Joint Order there, that will help raise morale as these elite troops join the fray. Whether or not that proves effective, we will see. Meanwhile, the Federation fleet that was repulsed at Jaros redeploys to Ancana, so is now essentially disengaging from the southern front and is now really positioning itself to support the central front. Finally, the Klingons and Romulans continue their flanking maneuver around the Dominion front lines in the south. The Klingons are basically just now moving along from their positions in the Calandra system and along to surround the entire Cardassian front line, which in this sector is actually relatively lightly defended. You have the Third Order at New Helena, and that's got a lot of space to cover. Whilst the Romulans themselves are proceeding on to BT 3376, bringing them ever closer to Cardassian space. So, as you can see, this month there really isn't much actual movement on the front lines. But what is going on is a lot of repositioning, a lot of redeployment, a lot of manoeuvring in preparation for what is almost certainly going to be a hectic few months. The Alliance firmly has the momentum at this point, and at this point it is just deciding where are they going to strike next, where is the next blow going to fall, rather than, whether they should be offensive or defensive. The Dominion has dug in on Beta Z, and that has brought the Dominion a lot more time, in as much as there's a lot of allied fleets that are now tied up there. You have 5 Federation fleets tied up there and a Romulan fleet. Overall, it doesn't sound like much. That's about, 500-600 ships. But when you consider that those could appear anywhere on any point of the front lines, which are fully manned at the moment, that can make a difference. And granted, the Dominion are holding back a lot of ships from the front lines. Most of the Jem'hadar have gone north to create that defense in depth to prevent Romulan incursions into Cardassian space. The lack of movement is not for no reason. It is because of, the Alliance is tactically repositioning and the Dominion is firmly on the defensive and committed to various forms of defense. The Alliance are really testing the defensive capabilities of the Dominion in many different ways. The Klingons have the Klingons carrying out their flanking maneuver, the Romulans threatening to perform deep strikes, and the Federation challenging that front line. All of which is causing increasingly strained Dominion to have to hold out on multiple fronts from multiple kinds of attack. Now, there is also something happening behind the lines this month, in sonar space, which is actually on the other side of the quadrant. It's near Clactical Bract, or the Briar Patch, as we would know it. And that is that the sonar, who have been supplying Ketracel White since last year, nearly a year now they've been doing that, and this has been a bit of a problem for the Allies. Ketracel White is obviously a military necessity for the Dominion. It's what keeps the Jem'hadar alive and keeps them obedient to the Dominion. They need it. It's a military asset in that respect. However, it technically, because it basically keeps the Jem'hadar alive, it counts as a medical supply, and thus is protected under sort of neutrality laws. Essentially, the Sonar have said they are neutral in this war, and as well as supplying Ketracel White to the Dominion, they are supplying their own pharmaceuticals to the Federation as well, so they are actually keeping to their neutrality. However, obviously, the Allies don't see it that way because they feel that, Ketracel White is a far more critical part of the Dominion's actual war fighting than their own pharmaceuticals are for them, which is largely used to treat people who are badly wounded and probably not going to fight again anyway. They view that as having quite a big difference. So, there's nothing the Allies can formally do about the Sonar. However, despite this, Sonar convoys are being hit by strange pirate vessels of various species. There are some old Klingon ships in there in very gaudy colour schemes. Nausicaans are attacking, Orions, non-Federation humans, Gorn. They're attacking and harassing the shipments of Ketracel White. Now, as we say, this is on the far side of Klingon space. This is on the far side of the quadrant, near the Klingon border. So there's not really much the Dominion can do, apart from send, thoughts and prayers, and maybe a few ships on the very, very quiet. But there's not really much they can do, and the Sonar can't say that the Allies are breaking neutrality because it's not them that are doing it. It's these pirates, and unfortunately, when there's a war on, all our ships are kind of busy elsewhere, and it's just an unfortunate consequence of that. That we need so many ships on the front lines that we can't spare any to protect shipping lanes and to protect those Ketracel White supply ships, which is, extremely unfortunate. But, that's war, unfortunately. We're all suffering here. So that's the current state of the Dominion Ketracel White supply and the general strained nature of the Dominion, both on the front lines and behind the lines. Things are not looking good. Now, before I finish up, I just want to give my profuse apologies for my absence for the past few months. That was basically, I know when I did the announcement of the Nova and I was going to do a Wings of Romulus reboot, I know I said I would keep doing these Dominion War, and then I sort of fell off because I got very much into doing the Tomed incident, doing those maps and doing, immersing myself in that universe. But now I'm coming out of that and we'll be back to business as usual, and we should be able to see it off. I will say it does give me a real appreciation for what the Great War and the World War II team really do, that they are able to keep that commitment week after week. I do it monthly. They did it week after week, or are doing it week after week. Have to still keep it interesting, and that is difficult. And like I say, profuse apologies, but we are back, and we should be seeing it out from here on in. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will leave you with this final thought. While the map this month is largely static, all that actually means, you might think it means that nothing's happening. No, what it does mean is that thousands of people are dying each month for no gain. See you all next time.